Petty revenge can be so sweet. I'm your host, Tight. Let's see who got a treat. Our first one is from Oh Hervey. So, to start off, I actually have a great relationship with my father-in-law. We have a lot of the same hobbies, actively hang out, and he knows I was the one to do this to him and he found it hilarious. The situation happened back in December of 2021. Me being with my wife's family for the holidays and quickly them all getting drunk. Since I'm usually the designated driver, I didn't drink, since I was going to have to drive out of the middle of Philly. But as the night went on, I was playfully joking around with my wife and her sister, arguing something stupid like the best thing to do in a game, and honestly, just rage baiting my wife like a good husband. Her father, completely drunk, came over and laughed as I rage baited her and told her, "Here's how you deal with your husband," and punched me in the dick. Obviously, he didn't punch me full force, but I'm sure most guys here know even a light hit can be enough to make you keel over. As the night went on, he even apologized and offered me to punch him back, but I said no. But I was obviously gonna get him back. A month later, Pokemon Legends Arceus came out, and me and her entire family got it, father-in-law also getting it and loving the game. But I beat the game much faster than all of them, and having hunted shiny Pokemon for years, carried some of them over, my favorite being a shiny Giratina I had. Amazingly, before it became public knowledge, as far as I knew, I figured out that if specifically a shiny Giratina used a Shadow Sneak, it would just crash your whole Switch and force you to have to fully shut it down and restart the device. Cue petty revenge. A little while later, we are all hanging out at sister-in-law's house, playing Pokemon, and I nonchalantly offered all of them various shiny Pokemon that I had hunted through the years, claiming I had a lot. I didn't, but I didn't want him being too suspicious, and knowing her tastes, I knew immediately he would love to have a shiny Giratina. So I traded it to him and just waited long enough that I just kinda forgot. Then months later, we were all hanging out and he was complaining that his Switch kept crashing. He had to restart it, uninstalled and reinstalled all of his games, but it just kept crashing when he was playing Arceus, and no matter what he did, it wouldn't work. So I had asked him, "Oh, is it whenever you used Shadow Sneak with the Giratina I gave you?" He went silent, then I immediately followed up with, "That's for punching me in the dick in December." He couldn't stop laughing, as he said in his own words, "Oh my god, I wasted real time on that. I respect the long con." It was even funnier when a few days later, articles started popping up for him about the glitch in Arceus as well, after he found out from me. Everyone in the family agreed. It was pretty effing funny. I definitely have to agree, this is a pretty funny petty revenge, especially considering how much time it ended up passing, and then you know that the father-in-law completely forgot about it until OP brought it back up. I'm really glad that this entire family could have a good laugh about it. And our final one is by APost8and8. Early in my career, I worked as an engineer for a defense contractor for about 4 years, getting my typical 2 to 4% raises and standard promotions that take years and years to qualify for. I realized that in my current role, I was pretty much maxed out for the foreseeable future, and would be scraping by for years more. So I tried to get on the management track, and got given a project engineer position to prove myself. I managed a team of 4 engineers, a designer, and 2 admins, and we designed and manufactured a system that made $1.6 million in sales in our first year of work. We got the company a patent, and were nominated by the United States Air Force, and became finalists as Department of Defense Contractor Technical Team of the Year. I don't recall the exact wording. And were flown to DC for a big award ceremony. I spent 100 days away from my family that year, traveling to test locations, customers, vendors, etc. It was brutal, but we were wildly successful. When annual performance reviews came in, mine was 10 out of 10. I was thrilled. Then I found out one of my team members, who had a different manager, was promoted early to a senior position and that I did not, and I just got the standard 3% raise again. I was livid. I had a meeting with my boss, and his response was that he didn't think my team member deserved a promotion or a big raise, but he wasn't their boss, so basically, I should try real hard again and we'll see next year. Fuck that. I basically quiet quit and just barely worked my 40 hours and went home. I never traveled unless I really wanted to. I never stayed late. I took almost every Friday off to burn through my leave. I took all of my sick days, etc. My mental health was much better. The only thing I really did extra was take advantage of the education budget our group had but rarely got used. My previously promoted coworker, who I really liked personally, started taking MBA evening classes that the company reimbursed him for, but they came with obligations to stay there for X amount of years. They also had a nice budget for software training without such stipulations. So we both signed up for FEA and 3D modeling classes. We traveled around together taking these classes and building our resumes. About a month after the classes were finished, I secretly started applying for jobs that required those specific skills and quickly got hired for a position with a base annual income that was 200% my existing rate, plus it paid overtime. I put in my notice and my boss was really upset. "We just paid for you to travel all over to learn these new skills that we need. Don't you have any loyalty or guilt? How much are they paying you? Let's see if we can match it. That's more than I make." It was, and with overtime, I made about 3 times the following year for a competitor. Life-changing good times. I've always wondered why a lot of managers pass up more qualified people for management or even supervisor type positions. However, it's funny when they act surprised when that qualified person decides to go somewhere else and actually advance their career. The fact that OP was able to learn skills on the dime of their ex-employer is a fantastic petty revenge. Alright, that's enough pettiness for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of Petty Revenge. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons and super thanks contributors. Have a great day and stay safe out there.